able to Hi everyone, this is Miss Bowen from Pep Practice. We have practice. Pep April 10, 2021. Or you can pay at 51 Duke Street, downtown Kingston. Hi everyone, this is Miss Bowen from Pep Practice. We are having a summer program starting July 5th, 2021. In this summer program, we'll be looking at pre-writing strategies and problem-solving skills that are necessary to excel in the language arts and mathematics performance tasks. We'll be also doing a series of language arts and performance tasks mock examination. We'll also be looking at ability test preparation. We'll also be looking at the different topic areas that are going to be coming on the language arts performance tasks, the mathematics performance tasks, and also the topics that are necessary to excel in the ability test examination. We find that students who attend our summer program transition easier into the Christmas term where things start moving a bit rapidly. Do not wait until your teacher starts doing last minute preparation. Join our summer program and learn the skills and strategies needed to excel in the language arts performance task, the mathematics performance task, and the ability test. This year is going to be a very tedious year for the grade 5th students going into grade 6, simply because they have to be doing 2 examinations. The performance task from grade 5, the performance task examinations from grade 5, and the examinations from grade 6. It is important that you leverage this time and prepare accordingly rather than wait until the new term. The summer program lasts for 6 weeks. We have a 6-week program and an 8-week program. The 6-week program is $48,000 and the 8-week program is $60,000. Payment plans are available. If you would however like to join weekly, it's $12,000 per week, or there is a shorter plan or a shorter term program, which is 3 weeks for $30,000. Now the general price per hour is $1,000, so even for the 1-week program, the $12,000, you'll already save $3,000, and for the 3-week program, you would save $5,000. For the 6-week program, you're actually saving a whopping $7,000, and for the 8-week program, you're actually saving $7,500 per week. So you can make payment at 51 Duke Street. Also, you can make payment online via our website, or you can pay via bank transfer. I'll share the information in our bio so you can go ahead and make payments and start your preparation for grade 6. Today we're looking at the pre-writing process, and that is an important part of the performance task examination. It's an important skill. The pre-writing skill is an important skill that you need to develop for the pre-writing the actual writing that you're going to be doing in the language arts performance task. I want you to reply in the chat which grade you're in. Okay, you're in grade 5, going into grade 6. So that's the vital time for you to start the preparation. Also, because the ministry has postponed the grade 5 performance task examination, you are going to be doing that examination in the Christmas term, which is our upcoming term. So it is the right time for you to leverage this period and prepare for your examination, seeing as though you'll actually be doing 2 examinations in grade 6, the grade 5 examination and the grade 6 examination. Good day, Davine, or Davine Jones. Can correct the pronunciation. So as I was explaining earlier to Ajane, we're looking at the pre-writing process, the non-fictional summary, which you are going to be doing in the language arts performance task, requires you to write an essay from or an article from 2 sources. And you're going to be summarizing the information that is presented in both sources, but you're not going to be able to just look at the sources and to summarize it offhand. You would actually need to go through the process of pre-writing, which is, so there's a writing prompt. A writing prompt is given, and we're going to be looking at that shortly once I start sharing to the screen. So there's a writing prompt, which is the information that tells you what you should include in your essay. And in order for you to figure out what you're supposed to be including in your essay, you need to unpack that prompt. And you're also going to be required to gather the evidence from the sources. I'm actually going to be sharing now. And you're also going to be required to say how the evidence, well, organize the evidence first and say what it is exactly in this source and how it matters to your purpose of writing, what it means in your own words and how it matters to your purpose of writing. So you have to go through a series of things before you're able to write a compelling essay. So I'm sharing the presentation now. So if you are not accustomed to my classes, I'm Miss Bowen. I should have started with that first. So I'm Miss Bowen. I'm what do you call a PEP specialist? I'll call myself a PEP specialist. And I prepare students for their PEP examination, grade 4 students, grade 5 students, and grade 6 students. And my company is PEP Practice. So I'm going through the sharing process. I'm just trying to share the presentation to the screen. It's taking a little while. Okay. So, as I said, today we're looking at non-fictional summaries, and this is a part of the writing process. So the first thing that we're doing in the writing process, as I alluded to earlier, is unpacking the writing prompt. And as I said, the writing prompt is the information that tells you what you are to be doing in your essay and how your essay should be written, right? And the next part of the writing process is reading the sources and gathering or coding the evidence. Next, you look at organizing the evidence to suit the writing task. Then you're going to be thinking about your evidence, what the evidence says, what it means in your own words, and how it matters to your purpose of writing, and then you'll plan writing your writing task. In an examination, you might not be able to write a first draft. You might only be able to write one draft, and then you can revise that written work that you have done after you have written the essay. So let's look at unpacking the prompt. Now we can unpack the prompt using the PASTT graphic organizer. When we look at the PASTT graphic organizer, P stands for purpose, which tells our audience or our readers what we want them to understand when they're finished reading our essay. And usually the purpose of the article is to describe or to explain. In the writing prompt, we can underline the sentence that tells us what we want our readers to understand. The audience is who will be reading our article. And we can also draw a box around the words in our assignment that tells us, or in the prompt that tells us who we want to read the article. The S in PASTT stands for strong verb, and the strong verb tells the purpose for the writing, which is to describe or to explain. Other verbs such as outline and highlight can also be used. The first T stands for a topic, and the topic is what the writing should be about. So we can also underline the word, that tells the topic. And the topic is the word that is reoccurring the most in the prompt. We're going to be looking at the writing prompt shortly, so that will make you somewhat not be so confused as to what a writing prompt is, because these concepts are all new, and that's why sometimes in your regular classes at school, you tend to struggle because the teachers, or some of the teachers, are still not quite there as yet where non-fictional summaries are concerned, and as a result are not able to relay the information accordingly to you as the student. So writing prompts, graphic organizer, the purpose, the audience, strong verbs, topic, and task are all new terms, and it will take a little while to adjust to them. However, once you continue to practice doing your performance tasks, I'm not sure how many performance tasks your teachers at school are allowing you to practice. However, you can also go online and type in performance tasks, grade 5 performance tasks, grade 4 performance tasks, and grade 6 performance tasks. I'm going to be sharing some links in the chat. I also write my own performance tasks and produce them as booklets. If that's something that you're interested in, I could speak to your parents. I'm also going to be sharing my number and email address in the chat, and we can discuss that at a later date. However, as I said, the resources are online at your fingertips, and in order to be resourceful and to be ahead in our classes, we have to extend ourselves and look for the type of information that we so seek. So the final T in the graphic organizer, the PASTT graphic organizer, is the task, and this tells us what kind of information we will need to include in our article. And again, we can underline the word that tells us the type of information that we need to include in our article. So we're looking at this sample writing prompt. Before we look at this writing prompt, And you can respond in the chat. Adjane, I want you to tell me, why do you think it's important for us to figure out what our task is, and how will that information affect how we write our article or essay? So why is it important? I'm going to copy the information and paste it to the chat, and you can reply via the chat to tell me, why do you think it's important for us to figure out our task? So the information is there in the chat. You can take some time to process the information, and then you can respond accordingly. This PowerPoint is also available on the website. I'm going to be sharing the link shortly so you can download it and follow from the website. So why do you think it's important to figure out what is your task? I'm sharing the link for the website for you to download the PowerPoint. And you can respond with any answer. There's really no, I'm really not looking for a wrong or right answer. I'm just trying to figure out, what do you think? All right, so what I've sent is the link for the website. What I'm going to be sharing shortly is the actual link where you can download the PowerPoint. All right, so I was looking for the link, but I'm going to be sharing the actual link shortly. I shared the direct link. All right. So it's important for us to figure out what our task is, because we will know exactly what we need to include in our essay. Sometimes when we write our essay, it is not including the things that we should be including. Some of the things that we include are not quite what we should be including. So I have the PowerPoint there on the screen instead. So as I said earlier, the task is what kind of information that we will need to include in our article. So when we figure out the task, we will know exactly what we need to include in our article, and we will avoid including unnecessary information. It is important for us to figure out what the task is, and this will affect the information that we include in our essay or our article, because we will only include what is necessary and we will refrain from including unnecessary information, which is a very important thing. Sometimes we write an essay and we think that is the perfect essay because there's no grammatical errors, it sounds good, it has the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. However, it does not include the information that we need to be included in our article, and therefore it is not a properly constructed essay. So that's why it's important for us to figure out the task. So we're looking at the writing prompt now on the screen. It says, you are a member of your school's environment club. This month, the club wishes to inform the students of how certain activities that people engage in have been affecting the environment. Write an essay describing the effects of human activities on the environment. So we're going back to look at the PASTT graphic organizer. So first we're looking for the purpose. And again, the purpose tells us what our readers should understand when they finish reading our article. So let's look at what we think the readers should understand when they're finished reading our article. It says that this month the club wishes to inform students how certain activities that people engage in have been affecting the environment. So that's what we want the readers to understand. How certain activities that people engage in have been affecting the environment. Now let's look at the audience. Who will be reading our article? So because it is the school's environment club, and it says here, so we know that students and teachers make up the school or are part of the school. And it says here that we want to inform the students. So we know here that our audience is students or are the students. Now we're looking for the strong verb, and the strong verb tells us the purpose of our writing, and the purpose of our writing is to describe or to explain. It says here describing, so this is the strong verb here. So the strong verb is describing or describe. Now we're going to look for the topic, and the topic is what the article will be about, or the word that is reoccurring most. And here I can see clearly the word that is reoccurring most is environment. I'm seeing where environment has appeared 3 times, 1, 2, 3. So the topic is the environment. And now let's look at the task. The task is what kind of information we will include in our article. So let's look at the type of information that we should be including in our article. It says that you're writing an essay describing the effects of human activities on the environment. So this is our task. We need to include the effects that human activities have on the environment in our article. So there we go. That's unpacking the prompt. So it sounds fancy, but it's basically us just determining the type of information that we need to include in our article. And this is extremely important. As I said, you need to know what is required and how it should be done for your article to be what the ministry requires. If you go ahead and write it any form of way that you think you need to write it, you're not going to be getting the full mark. So it's very important for us to unpack the prompt, to see the types of information, to include what is the purpose, what we want the readers to understand at the end of reading our article, who we're writing to, who our audience is, and the strong verbs such as describing. So here, when it says describing, you should be describing, you should be listing out and explaining in detail how human activities or the effect of human activities on the environment. So, as I said, the environment is a topic and it's here in blue. The information here in red is the purpose. The students here in yellow is the audience, and describing here is the strong verb, and the effects of human activities on the environment is the task. If there are any questions, you can reply in the chat with the questions before I move on to the next part, of the pre-writing process. As I said, the pre-writing process is important because what we're used to, or what we are accustomed to writing, is a general essay, right? Where we're not given any sources and we are able to pull the information from our head, right? For the language arts performance task, this is a bit different, where the information is not so much pulled from our heads, it is actually pulled from the sources that we're given. So the sources are non-fictional because they're true sources or factual sources. And in order for us to write a properly constructed essay, we need to learn how to summarize the information from the sources that are given. Now, sometimes when we think about summarizing the information, what we do is to take the information as is from the passage or from the sources and put that in our essay and call us an essay. No, that is not an essay at all, right? And that is basically plagiarizing the information or taking somebody's information and calling it your own. In order for you to write a properly constructed essay, you need to quote from the sources to say this is where you're taking the information from. And also, as I said, there's going to be a prompt that is given in the language arts in the language arts performance task that is going to tell you, how you should be writing this essay, how they want to see it, what they want you to bring out in the essay, what they want to be understanding once they finish reading the essay. So that's why it is very important. So let's look at the next step in the pre-writing process, which is gathering the evidence. When we're gathering the evidence, we are going to be reading the sources and gather or code the evidence. When we think about gathering the evidence, we think about the main idea and the supporting detail, right? And in order for us to code the evidence, we can look back at our task. So let's look back at our task here. And it says the effect of human activities on the environment. So when we're coding our evidence, we can use letters that tells us what type of information that we should be looking for in our reading. So in this case, we should be looking for the effects of human activities on the environment. So we can code that information by using the letter E. So wherever we see the effects, we can put E. We can also code human activities also, because that's something that we're interested in. We're interested in the human activities and the effects that it has on the environment. So we can use, well, here in this case, I used A for the activities and E for the effects. All right, so let's look at this source here. This is a source of information that we're presented with. And it says, habitat loss. When people cut down forests, build cities, or make roads, they destroy habitats, the place where plants, animals, and organisms live. So we're looking for the activity and we're looking for the effect. So the activity is that when the human activities are cutting down the trees, or cutting down the forest, building cities, or making roads. And the effect is that this is a cause and effect type of relationship. So the cause is cutting down the forest and building cities or making roads. And the effect is that it destroys habitats. And we're looking for another effect and an activity. Let's continue reading. Deep in the ancient forests of the Pacific Northwest live some of the oldest and largest trees in the world. For centuries, Douglas firs and cedars have towered above the forest floor. But these majestic trees are only part of the rich areas known as old growth forests. They are home to hundreds of plants and animal species. Old growth forests used to extend across the Pacific Northwest, but these precious habitats are quickly disappearing. In some cases, logging has destroyed the forest animals' habitats. So let's look at the activity, and the activity is logging, which is the same cutting down of trees. And the effect is also destroying the forest animals' habitats. So that's how we code the evidence. So the evidence that we're interested in is the activities and the effect, and that's how we coded the evidence just now. So that's an important part of the pre-writing process, because now we know that all of this information here in the mid part of the paragraph is not quite necessary, because this is not what we're interested in. We're interested in the activities, the human activities, and the effects that these activities have on the environment, right? So the only thing we're including here is this short paragraph at the beginning and this last sentence, because that is the part that holds the information that is to be included in our article. Anything else is unnecessary. And once you include those, the person that's reading and marking your essay will not be paying attention to those things. So let's look at how we organize the evidence now. So when we coded the evidence, and this is the final thing that we're going to be looking at for today. In our next session, we're going to be looking at the other parts of the pre-writing process. So when we coded our evidence, we use H for the human activities and E for the effects. So now we can organize our text evidence. So the human activities are logging, building cities, and making roads. And the effects on the environment is destroying forest animals' habitat and destroying plants' habitat. So as I said, in the next session, which will be next Friday, we're going to be looking at how we think about our evidence, we say it as it is in the passage, what it means in our own words, and how it matters to our purpose of writing. Are there any questions? If there are any questions, you can reply in the chat with whatever question you have, and I can provide a response. I'm going to now go ahead and provide my number. You can reach out to me. I can share the link, the direct link to download this PowerPoint so you can follow in our next session, and then you can read over some of the stuff that we did today in this class. I'm also going to be sharing my email address so you can call, you can have mommy or daddy call on this WhatsApp number. Call. And again, my name is Miss Bowen. I'm sharing that information, and I'm also sharing my email that you can reach out to me. And please reach out to me. I can assist in any way that is deemed necessary for your development. I'm also going to be sharing another resource, and that's what we're going to be looking at in our next session, or one of our next sessions. When we look at problem solving, we're going to be using the Brain in Camp app. I'm going to be sharing, you can apply for a free trial, but I'm going to be sharing my login information, and then you can use that. I'm going to be sharing my username and my password. So my username is Pep Practice. And the password is, sorry. Sharing the password here, and you can access this app. It has virtual manipulatives that you can use to assist you in your preparation for the performance task. It's hands-on because you can use your tablet or laptop to play with the manipulative similarly like how you'd use it in real life. So that's why it's called a manipulative, but it is virtual rather than handheld. So those are the resources I'm sharing for today. It was nice having you today. I'll see you in our next session, and I hope you continue to reach out to me, join my classes, and learn the information that I'm providing. These are very essential information for you to do well in your examination. And once you have the urge to learn, you will do so. All right, then take care and enjoy the rest of your day, and ultimately the rest of your weekend. Bye.